So welcome back to the Ryunohara channel, and this time we are not at Ryunohara. We are about 20 minutes away. We are still in the same village, Ryujinmura, the dragon god village in Wakayama, Japan, and I have news for you. I've gotten a house for free, this house, for 0 yen. And it's really 0 yen. It's for a reason, I'll tell you why in a bit, but there's even bigger news. You could own this building for free because I'm giving away this building. Come on inside and I'll tell you why. So let me give you a quick house tour. As you come in the genkan, and I'm going to come into this house with my shoes on because it's very dirty right now, and we have been cleaning it up for the last 3 weeks, so it's super dirty here. Dusty, although it doesn't look like it's dusty right now. So the first thing, the living room. The living room is quite large, you can sit quite a few people. There's a Japanese room over here. Quite a nice large Japanese room with a tokonoma. Yeah, and if you come around here, you have the kitchen. The kitchen's pretty large. We removed some of the sinks over there because they were quite dirty, but this one's still alright. And it still has gas, so hot water and running water. It's filtered water from the village. It's treated water, but this place needs some TLC, some tender loving care. It's not that clean yet. So this is the kitchen, and there is a toilet. The vanity here is nice and big, so you have things like your cupboards. You can put things in here. Cupboards everywhere, up there. And also down here. Sorry. Yep, also down here. So it then leads you to a toilet. The toilet is here. Yeah. It's quite tight. Yep, toilet. Yep, so it's a flushing toilet. There's water in there, but it leads to a hole in the ground. So it's a septic tank which is cleared once every now and then. It's not a filtration system, it's simply a hole in the ground, a tank in the ground. There's a changing room, and there are problems with this room. There's some roof leakage over here. It's quite bad, and I'll talk about all this maintenance stuff later. But just to give you an idea of the layout first, this is the bathroom. The bathroom still has hot water running, and there's even a washing machine here. That's working. It's all but it's working. So this strange layout here leads you to the outside on this side, where you can see our volunteers Toby, Kai and Jeremiah working hard to make this place clean for the first people who want to live here. So as we come back here, you have floors that need replacing here. It's kind of soft here. This is the corridor leading to the first bedroom, and there's a cupboard in here. Okay, and there's a sunroom. Okay, the person here used to have a dog, so the dog and I think a cat used to live here. There's a middle room which was used to store clothing and kimono. So there's a shelf here, and there's some termite damage over there. I'll talk about this later. Then the main part of the house leads upstairs, but there's also a garage. So there's this semi-outdoor storage area. There's a roof up there, although you can't see it's too bright. There's a plastic roof up there. There's this garage area. We've kept lots of things we think should be saved in that area, like records and all that. This is the parking area that you see. There's some water leakage over here, as you can see from the ceiling. So this part of the house may need to be knocked down or repaired. But if you go upstairs, and this is the upstairs. It's very bright, as you can see, so it may let me lower the light input here. Right, and you can see lots of space on the second floor. It's nice and bright. We have removed all the tatami because the tatami were old, and outside view of the mountains. So this is what I really like about this place. The view here is really nice. So it gets lots of sun, but it does need a lot of work. As you can see, the garden area below, it does have this second floor here, which needs quite a bit of clearing up. And you move here so you have a better view. Now that needs to be cleared up. But I guess it gives you a sense of the area. We have lots of mountains around. The neighbors are close by, but not too close by. And I'll go down so you have a bit more of an idea of what this house is like. Yeah, we are back down again. Back to the kitchen, back to the living space, and this is the tatami room. Okay, oops, sorry. So let me take my shoes off first. I have to tell you why this place was given to me first, why I got this place for free, and why am I giving it away for free, and what you have to do to get this place for free. So yeah, skip this part if you want to just watch a house tour. I'll give problems with the house tour in a short while. But for now, why I got this place for free? That's because a family who is living here in this village, they had 3 siblings and mother and father. So their parents were teachers here, and the dad passed away several years ago. Then the mom, because they were old, the mom also passed away 3 years ago. So they didn't die in this house. This is not a haunted house, nothing like that. They just passed away elsewhere. But then the house was left to the middle child, the brother. So there's an older brother. He has a great job in the north of the country. He's I think in his 50s and 60s. The second brother is also in his 50s and 60s. And he works overseas, far from Japan. He doesn't come back to Japan all that often. He's the one who owned this house, and he's the one who gave it to me. Then there's the sister, the younger sister, who has been helping to take care of this house for the last couple of years when the mom had passed away. And she's living in another place, close by, but not here, not in this village. So she's been coming here to take care of the place, but she doesn't really need this place. So the siblings decided, alongside the brother who owned this place, to give it to me because they knew that I was doing something interesting at Ryunohara. First the cafe and then the guest house. So they thought I would have a use for this place, especially since I was going to have a volunteer program here this year. So this was last year in October, and they said 1 year later we'll hand it to you. So 1 year later in November, which is last month, this is 2023 right now in December, just 1 month ago, they finally got most of their personal items cleared. They had to leave many things behind because it was just the sister in Japan, in this village, trying to help to clear all their personal stuff. So they removed the butsudan, which is the altar, the family altar. They removed whatever they could remove and left the rest for volunteers and me to clear. So that was part of the condition for getting this house, was that I would have to accept the house as is. So things cut short, I got this house. The transfer fee, registering my name, getting the scrivener to prepare the documents, it costs about $1,500 US. And I expect the taxes that are coming in April on a free house like this to cost no more than $1,000 US. I think it would be much lower than that. So there's a tax applied to all houses, even if you gotten it for free. So I didn't pay a consumption tax on this when purchasing the house because it was 0, but it will be a purchase tax on the land. given that this house is 75 years old, the taxes will be very low. Okay, that's it. Now this house is under my name, so it's completely mine. I am not going to use this house because I live 20 minutes away. I have a place to stay. I have a volunteer house. My business is over there, 20 minutes away. So I would like to use this house for someone who would like to live in Japan, who may not have lots of money, but you need some money to do up this place. I'll explain why. The trouble is if you're a foreigner, how to live in Japan. So if you are a Nihonjin, a Japanese person, and you want to live here, this is also for you. You could also get this house for free. So how will this work? I am going to, in the next few YouTube videos, try to get this house to the right person. Meaning, I like a person who can use this house for at least half the year, 180 days a year. So you don't have to prove to me later that you are going to be here 180 days a year, but if you have a plan that will allow you to be here most of the time, you want to live in this village, you'll be high up on the priority list. So number one, you have to be here for half the year. Number two is that parts of the roof are leaking. It's not a serious leak, it's small leaks, but they will get serious over time. And if they are not fixed, whoever lives here will not live here for long. So you have to agree to pay for those renovations. You may also have to get new tatami mats or things to do DIY in this place. I don't care what you do here, as long as you discuss with the carpenter and local hardware people. They must be local. What you are going to do with this place, you settle on a plan, and once you settle on a renovation plan and paid upfront half the renovation fees to the electrician and the carpenter, I will sign this building off to you. So this will be your house. You pay for the transaction charges, which should be about 1,500. You pay for the taxes, which should be no more than 1,000 US dollars. And that's all yours after the house is given to you. I'm just going to give this house to you at zero. So you don't have to pay me anything. What I get in return is the joy of seeing someone move into this village. So it could be a Japanese person who's living elsewhere in Japan or living overseas and coming back. You could be a foreigner, and you have to figure out your own visa status. If you're working here already, then great. If you're not, then how you want to get here, that's your own business. I could help you with a few things, but essentially my goal here is to see this house being used. I do have friends in this neighborhood. One of them is a very good friend. She has been very helpful, cooking for us volunteers. Our music teacher friend, who is lending us the rice fields, she has other teacher friends here. This is nearby a school. So the neighbors here are nice people. They are older people in their 60s and 70s, but they're super nice. And I'm very sure they'll help anyone who actually seriously want to move here, move into this house. That said, there are several challenges to this house alone. Let alone the moving into Japan and getting a visa problem. So I'd like to talk about this house and its problems first, and I'll list out the costing, what it will cost you to repair this house. But first, let's talk about problems. And this room hides the very first problem, termites. Termites are a common problem in Japanese houses because they are not often well ventilated, and this being the center of the house has the least ventilation of all. So you can't really see from the angle. Let me zoom in so you can see what happened there and just behind the camera. So this here has been eaten by termites. I don't see any termites here right now, but this is very soft. This whole beam here has been eaten by termites. So what has to happen here is that the floorboards have to be lifted up and these parts have to be replaced. They must be replaced because otherwise your structure is compromised. It's not a big thing here in Japan to have lots of problems with the middle of the house. That happened with the main house also. If you watch the before and after video of the main house, we had to replace lots of wood, but once you replace the wood, all you need to do is to call in a termite guy. I have to contact one, and they'll put in some medication for the wood to make sure that termites don't come back again. The more important thing in the future is the people here have to keep the building ventilated. Once that's the case and you have enough air flowing, then the house will be alright. So this is not a very big problem. I think if the whole house had this problem, it would be a big thing. But this house does not have a problem in all sectors. Only this one room here has a termite problem. So it will cost you money to rip out the floor, do the bottom, and repair this room. So that's the first thing. The second problem is over here, a roof leak. So this is the main house. There's actually a little roof above that is a bit leaky right now. So I'll show you how it looks like from outside later. The leak up there, the small leak, is causing this to happen. And if this problem is not resolved, you will have a very damp changing room. Also, a leaky roof is not good for a house because you have termites in the future. So it's very important to redo all these things. That's one thing. It's a 3 o'clock alarm. Anyway, that's the outside of the house that you saw just now that was leaking. You can see that there's a bit of the house jutting out and the joint there is leaking. So there needs to be some work on the roof. There's a contact of the carpenters, actually a neighbor of the carpenters who is a metal work guy. So he can actually replace the roof for you. I've gotten a quote and I'll share it with you in a bit. But for now, that's where it's leaking. The other part of the house that's a roof problem is this part here, the garage. The garage is a place where you park your car, so it's not as important as the main part of the house where you live. But it does have a room right now, which I think would have to be gotten rid of to sort of repair the roof and all that. So it's up to you whether you want to dispose of this yourselves. You could, of course, hire a company and they could demolish it for you, but it costs a lot, like thousands of dollars. Or you could remove it yourself, which should be in the low hundreds. If you dispose this at the recycling center less than a 10-minute drive away. I can lend you my truck for the days you need to transport the materials over, the demolished items over. Or you could rip out everything and put on a new roof yourself, like a zinc roof. It's up to you. So this is the other part and it needs some work. You are in the garage. This is the main house. There used to be a wall here, I think, many years ago, until they built an extension here and they knocked the wall out. So you can see the old boards of this house and the mud walls inside. Anyway, I'm not talking about this part because you could easily demolish this part, or you could put it on a door and this leads to your garage. So that's a different issue. But the main issue is here, the corridor. It's soft. So I think it has the same problem with the room you saw earlier with the termites. There might be termite damage under here. We won't know until we knock a hole through and remove whatever that's there. So there's a very high risk that you have to replace these rooms. And I've asked the carpenter I've been working with, Nori-san, to give a quote for the kitchen, the living room, the corridor, and the inner room's new flooring. So his quote will not include like quotes for extensive damage. So if he needs to replace wood for the pillars and all that, it's separate days of work and separate costs. So it could be a couple $1,000s more than the quote that we'll receive, but it's an issue, but not a very big issue in my opinion, compared to the roof. The roof can also be fixed, and there's already people who can do it, so you don't have to worry. I can guide you through the process, but I'm just letting you know what the problems of this house are. It's quite extensive. You do have to replace the floor. The second floor here has less problems. There is a small roof leak on the top, but I fixed it by paying for roof tiles. The roof tiles cost me about 30,000 yen, which is about $250 or so, I think. And I'm going to absorb that cost if you really want to live here. So I'm not going to ask you for any money I spent on this house. Just for the record, the volunteers and I have been cleaning this place for 2 weeks now. And the labor cost of that, if you're paying a professional to do it, would cost you about 10,000 US dollars to get rid of all the rubbish in this house. But we've done this for free, and I have gone to the recycling center more than 10 times with the truck, therefore costing me about 1,000. No, not so much. It cost me about 1,100 yen each time to go, so it cost me about $200 or so to get rid of the garbage that was in this house, compared to $10,000 if you were paying a professional to do it, because they have to dispose of their garbage commercially. So what you saw just now, like in the first part of this video of us carrying stuff out, we did it at a fraction of the cost for you for free. So anyway, going back to that, I have fixed the roof issues for the second floor by replacing about 20 roof tiles, and I've paid for the roofing guy to have a look. So the tile section of the second floor is fine. You need to replace the side roofs, the stuff on the side, because they are leaky. So I'll talk about that in a moment. For now, inside there is some water damage to this floor. It's a veneer floor, so not completely real wood. Over there you need to, I don't know, you could place a carpet here, you just hide the issue, or you could just put a new layer of veneer. That's the easiest way to do things. Inside, the Oshiire is the cupboard, does need new doors. We disposed of those doors because they were very flimsy after being used for 75 years. They were not in a condition where you could use them easily. And a Fusuma does not cost too much money. The whole thing will cost you like $100, $200. Okay, maybe a bit more, maybe $300. And tatami mats will cost you about $100 a piece. You need about maybe about 12 mats here. I think it's a 6 mat room, if I'm not wrong, or 6 mat 4.5 mat room. So that's 6 and 5, 11 mats, $1,100 to put a new floor in here. Fresh tatami. So yeah, so I think the second floor is not so much a concern. It's more of the roofing that I'll talk about next. This is the outside the roof. I'm standing over the bathroom now, and just slightly below from us, like down there, is the part of the roof that's leaky. Out here though, you can see that a part of the wall here has come off. So you would have to replace that, and this red area here has been painted over, as you can see. Let me turn the camera down. This is the exterior of the building, and there's some corrosion here. That's what I think is leading to the leak in the roof down there. This part is new, but I think it also needs some work. So roof tile section is fine. Now it's just this part. So the other part of the house that needs replacing is the part below this veranda. In order to fix the roofing below this veranda, you have to remove the veranda itself. So it does cost a bit of money to get rid of this and move it away, and then reinstall it. So you could reuse this, maybe if you use floorboards, but you do have to remove this to replace the roofing below this. So that's another piece of work. The other thing is that all these walls are old. So the plaster does need to be, the top layer at least, like this layer here, has to be ripped out, and then you have a new layer of shikui, which is the lime plaster applied, so that you don't have any gaps in your walls. Houses are cold because there are gaps, and these walls here, made of mud, you may think that they're cold, but actually they're very good insulators because it's mud. The inside of these walls is bamboo or very thin wood. And as long as you have clay walls, your house will be warm, but you must get rid of all these holes, like this one. You can feel a bit of air coming through. So to keep yourself warm and nice in this weather, you do need to seal up all these holes by simply plastering it over yourself. You could also hire a plasterer, and I can get a plasterer for you. It will not be too cheap, but it will not be very expensive either. And so yeah, the next thing is you need to fix the gaps in these clay walls. There's a concrete structure outside the house. That's the main house. I've just come out that way through the veranda, and it's solid concrete, so it's well built. It just needs a bit of clearing up here. We've already done lots of the work for you. I think the old lady who used to live here used to garden, and she had a garden out here. As you can see, there's quite a lot of sunlight even in the winter, so it's a pretty good place to have a garden. But again, this does need some work. all the railings are rusted. You need to, I think, get rid of them, saw them off, put new ones, or if you don't want to, you just have like a coat of anti-rust and then paint. But you shouldn't lean on these fences. But there's a nice area here where you could have tea, you could put a chair out here, deck chairs. It's a nice place, and you have the mountains all around. Let me turn around so you can see the mountains. Also, I have to mention that this house does get spring water from those mountains. So if you apply, I think there's a $28 charge per year for the free use of mountain spring water, unlimited use. It's one tap coming out, but you could have a free source of water to garden your water to water your garden for about $30 a year. So what do you think? Do you want to live here? If you do want to live here, please let me know by filling in the form. There's a form in the comments section, and that form will allow you to apply for this place. There will be questions, of course, so I'm very happy to answer questions you may have. I'm going to shoot another video with the questions and answers relating to this building, and I'm not going to give this building away until I find the right person. So that could take several months. I'm not going to give myself a term limit, but to say that the people who eventually get to live in this house will be vetted by the Ryunohara volunteer alumni group of people. So there are 23 volunteers right now who are in the alumni, and they will decide who gets to live here. So I'll leave it to them, but you have to give us a good idea of what you may do in this village. You could work here. Are you able to work here? What are your plans to do this place? Do you have some money to renovate? And I think it's very important to have at least about 40 to 50,000 US dollars to register this place in your own name, and then pay for the roof renovations, the siding. You could do it yourself, of course, if you have the skills. But let me know in the form if you think you could do this, or if you want to live in this place.